Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Hey, friends, and welcome back to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. This is episode number 40. 40 episodes, y'all. Like, that is just mind-boggling to me that we have had 40 episodes. You have had 40 opportunities to encourage yourself, inspire yourself, to maybe learn something new over the last 3 episodes. I shared some of my favorite things. I hope that you picked up a few things, new things to kind of incorporate into your mompreneur life and remix things up a little bit. But I just always like to say thank you so much for those of you who continue to follow the show and share the show and just send me your little messages of how these episodes are either inspiring you or just giving you something fun to listen to, something easy. And I know what's weighing on every mompreneur's mind right now is summertime is coming. And there are some fun things about summer. And then there's also some stressful things about summer when you think about the juggling act, and how you have to change things up. So today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the 5 C's for summer survival. And this is things that I have personally incorporated as a mompreneur over the years. And I hope that it will help you as well. So let's dive right in, because I know, again, summertime is coming and my kids are actually in exams this week. And then it's just summertime is going to be here. So we've already been having some of these conversations as a family. I've already been just kind of thinking through what is the summer going to look like for a rising senior and a rising freshman in high school. Like, I just cannot even believe that. And, what is it going to look like for me personally? And so I hope that these 5 C's for summer survival will help you get ahead of the summer schedule. And so that you can look back and really be proud of the summer that you had and not look back and regret and be like, why didn't we do more of this? Or why wasn't I more present for that? And we should have done this. It's a really hard place to be when you think that you've wasted your time away. And the only way to get ahead of that is to be ahead and to have a plan. So the first thing I want you to think about, the first C, is choose your mindset. Like right now, choose your mindset. And what that really means is, what are you already telling yourself about your summer schedule? Like, what are you already telling yourself about your summer schedule? Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. We've heard that quote so many times. Are you, thinking that you'll take the summer to enjoy time with the kids and then restart your business? Are you thinking that everyone is too busy in the summer to do business with you as a mompreneur? Like, if you're in business and if you're listening to this podcast, you're most likely a mompreneur. So I just want you to choose your mindset wisely right now about how you want to either continue to work your business in the summer. Maybe you are going to be taking some vacation time with family. Maybe you're able to take a month off, not a month off, but a month to really dial up the family and dial down the business. And that's the beauty of the flexibility of being an entrepreneur, is that you can set those schedules a little different in the summertime. But I want you to choose your mindset right now for what your summer is going to look like. When I go into, and I've talked about this before, but when I go into a live event, or I go into a coaching program or a mastermind or a mentorship or anything that I've invested in, this is the work I do kind of before I go into that event to make sure that I'm going to get at the end of that event, I can look back and say, I got exactly what I came for. And instead of just going to the event and aimlessly walking around and just, okay, well, whatever happens, happens. For the most part, 80% of the time, right? This is not about perfection. 80% of the time, I'm going into that event or that coaching relationship knowing exactly what I want to get from that. Because if you are looking for it, you'll find it, right? And this is where choosing your mindset right now and kind of painting the picture of what do you want your summer to look like. So some ways that I choose, how I choose the right my mindset, number one is my prayer and devotional time. Like that helps me to keep my mind on the positive things, on the truths of what God says about me and who he says I am and how he wants me to spend my time. And so prayer and devotional time always help me, no matter what season it is, to have the right mindset. The second one is to listen to podcasts. I've been talking about podcasts for years, and now I finally have my own, but it is definitely a way of filling my mindset with the positive, encouraging tips for business, tips for moms. Yesterday, I was listening to Allie Worthington. I think it was Allie's. No, it wasn't Allie's. It was The Next Right Thing. I think Emily Freeman is her name. And she was interviewing a lady about organizing your kitchen. So I think she's called the Organized Genius. I'm totally butchering it. I've only heard her for the first time. Some of y'all probably already know who I'm talking about. But whatever you're needing at the time and whatever I'm needing at the time are the podcasts that I choose to listen to. And then there's some that it doesn't matter what I feel like I need. They're always on time, if you get what I'm saying. Like they're always encouraging. They're always positive. And instead of getting up and turning my phone on and scrolling through an hour of social media, I choose to do prayer and devotional time, and I choose to listen to podcasts first thing. Like get your mindset right first thing. And you do get to choose what your mindset is going to be. You can choose to look at summer and think, oh my gosh, it's going to be so stressful. It's going to be chaotic. We've got company coming to town. We've got kids doing different camp. Like that's a mindset that you're choosing, right? That's a mindset. Not that those things aren't factual, but how you choose to look at those things and how you choose to respond to those things can completely change the game for your summer. Number 3, maybe you need to write out your own affirmations for summer. Like, I can do anything for a short period of time. Summer is short. It really is short. And we can do anything for a short period of time. And if you have littles, that might be the mantra that you have to keep for the summer, because they're going to be out of school and maybe they're going to be in and out of different camps. Maybe they're not going to camps. So write out your own affirmations that will be in alignment with what you want your summer to look like, what you want your summer to feel like, what you want your family time to feel like. Number 4 for how to choose the right mindset is surround yourself with big thinkers and positive people. So if you are going to be a go-getter this summer and you're not going to close the doors on your business, you need to be surrounding yourself with people who are going to be doing the same thing, because it is a little bit more difficult in the summertime. It's difficult to get people's attention. It's difficult to get them to engage. It's difficult for you to kind of shift and keep your priorities, keep the main things, and to run your business. And so you want to surround yourself with people who have a non-negotiable to work their business throughout the summer. Because I will tell you, from someone who did take time off in my years in direct selling, and really this could go for any business, shutting it down and then trying to reopen it is so much harder than just scaling it back a little bit in the summertime. And for some of you, maybe that just means scaling back your social media presence so that you're more present with your family. We all could probably do a better job of doing that, but maybe that's what it looks like for you. You're not going to be posting every day. Maybe you're posting every other day. I don't know. You just need to really look at what that looks like for you, but surround yourself with the big thinkers, the positive people, and those who have the same goals for their summer schedule, so that you are in alignment and you're hanging out with people who are going to encourage you as you do those things and craft your own summer. So number 1 for summer survival is to choose your mindset. And you're probably going to have to do that every day when you wake up. Like, what's your mindset going to be every day? Number 2, the second C, is to create your plan and schedule. If you will take the time right now to create the what, the why, the who, the when, and the how, you will actually thrive this summer. But you have to do that right now. Like when you get off this podcast, if you have an extra 10 minutes, just write out the why, the what, the who, the when, and the how for your summer schedule. Know your non-negotiables. What are those non-negotiables for summertime? What are your workouts going to look like? What's your work time going to look like? Your family time. It's a good time now to talk to your kids and your spouse. We were talking about that at dinner last night, like what the schedules are going to look like. I'm thinking about some things that my kids aren't thinking about, but just some things for them this summer and try to get a little bit more organized. I mean, I appreciate wanting to have a more flexible schedule, especially for the kids, because they're so regimented during the school year. But everyone, for the most part, thrives in structure. They do. Structure brings freedom. So how can we keep a little bit of structure over my own schedule and theirs as well? So let's talk about the what, why, who, when, and how. So the why, like why work this summer? I talked about that just a few minutes ago. I personally believe it's harder to restart your business than it is to just scale it back a little bit. So that for me was a huge why to keep my businesses going and to stay active in my business throughout the summer. Or maybe you're like, you know what, this is an opportunity this summer. We are going to be traveling more as a family. We're going to get out more as a family. So then that's your why for not working. And there's no right or wrong here. I just want you to make the decision and be comfortable with it and be confident in it so that at the end of the summer, you're not looking back in regret that you didn't keep working or that you worked too much, right? So that's the why. Like why, what is your why for the things you're setting up for your summer? What are the productive priorities do you have to schedule in for your best return on your time invested? What are your goals for the summer? What do you want to earn this summer? You know, we prioritize what's important, right? If it gets scheduled in, I say this all the time, it gets done. And we prioritize what matters most to us. You never find time for all the things. You have to make time and you have to make them a priority. And if we don't, they just don't get done. So what are those non-negotiables? What are those priorities that you want to make sure when the kids are home from school, if working out is important to you, then it's still important to you, even though they're home from school, right? So that's a priority for you. Taking care of yourself is a priority for you. And if it's not, I'm going to say it should be. It's self-care is not selfish. It's sacred and it's a necessity, especially for summertime. But prioritize it. Why is it important? What are those productive priorities that you have to have scheduled in so that you get the best return on time invested? And that sometimes means scheduling a time with the kids, scheduling time to go to the beach. I remember when my kids were, younger and they weren't kind of independent now, but we would schedule, like there was one day a week that, was devoted to them completely. And we would go to the beach or we would go to the water park or we would, they knew that was the day. And it also helped on the days that I was working, more hours. That was a day they looked forward to. That was the day that I looked forward to. And then there were some days where I was like, okay, in the morning, I'm going to work because they were sleeping. And then the afternoon is when we'll go to the beach or the pool. So it's just get your schedule set. Make a list of what those priorities are for you in business and in life and with your family and, of course, yourself, and get them on a schedule so that you're not feeling like you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off and you're feeling like you should be working. You're working, but you feel like you should be with your kids. And then when you're with your kids, you feel like you should be working. Like if you have it scheduled in, there's time allotted for those productive priorities and you're not stressed about it. You're not beating yourself up every day about it. So I'm telling you this from experience because I used to do that a lot. Okay. Who? So who will be involved? Are there some other mompreneurs that you want to kind of have a little group accountability with to make sure that you're showing up for your business every day or showing up for your business this summer consistently? Like who needs to be involved with the goals that you have for this summer? Maybe who can help with the kids? I had a mommy's helper that lived across the street when mine were younger. And I'm telling you, that was a game changer. Just having someone come over, even if it was like a couple hours. And that doesn't even mean to work your business. Maybe you want to go to the grocery store. Maybe you want to go to the beach for an hour. Like who can help you with your kids so that you can keep those productive priorities in alignment? A lot of kids are out for the kids are out for summer. So there's a lot of kids who are looking for things to do. They may even just enjoy it. I mean, this girl didn't even really expect me to pay her. She just was bored and she really just enjoyed hanging out with my kids. Who do you need to reach out to about your business? Like who are some people that maybe new customers and clients that you might want to spend a little more time engaging with and maybe meeting for lunch or maybe maybe there's somebody that you have a mutual relationship with their, kids. And so you've been wanting to get to know them a little bit better. This is an opportunity to do that. You can go to the beach together, the pool, or, go to the picnic or the park. Who needs to be involved with what you want your summer to look like? And when? This goes back to scheduling. So when will you do these things? When will you do these things? Once you've decided why and what and who, like, when are you going to do these things? A power hour was such a survival thing for me in business, to have a power hour where I knew I had an hour and I structured it like 15-minute blocks. What are the 4 key things I needed to do in those 15-minute blocks for my business? Early morning, are you going to get up early in the morning to do your workouts? Are you going to get up early in the morning to do your prayer and devotional time? Don't set the early morning as a priority if you're not a morning person. I was just talking to my son about this the other day. He's been saying all year, and he did for a while. I will kudos to my oldest who got up, and my youngest would go with him too and work out before school. Like, I never did that. And he was doing that when he was through with football and wasn't playing basketball. So, but he's been trying to do that again. I'm like, buddy, you can work out after school. Like, don't make yourself get up early in the morning if you're not a morning person, because every time you don't do it, you feel bad that you didn't do it. And then it just plays on your emotions. So don't set all these things, like, it sounds good, right? It looks good on paper, but if it's not you and it's not something you're going to do, then reschedule it, fit it in a different time. Maybe you're a night owl and you'd rather do some of these things late in the evenings. I don't recommend working out in the evenings because it can keep you up. But when are you going to do these things? You decide when you're going to do these things that are important to you. And then the how. So for me, as far as business goes, setting timers so that, again, I stuck to that power hour, 15-minute block because it goes by fast, getting a mommy's helper. As I said earlier, like, is there someone who might be able to come over and help you so you can get that power hour done, or so that you can go run those errands that you need to run? Create a plan and a schedule for you and your kids for fun and chores. So it's really important for you to have that schedule and for them to have that schedule as well. And I will say I came up with, I just kind of compiled some different things that I saw. So I'm definitely not saying this is like my original idea, but one of the things that I helped with as far as the how goes is I had 2 things that helped me and the kids. The first one was a countdown to screen time. And I was actually thinking about this now because they're 17 and 14, but it's just too easy, right? It's just too easy for both parties, for me to just let them get on their electronics, or them to just hop on and get on there. So I started implementing this, and it's just 10 things they have to do to earn their daily screen time. And y'all, like, half of them are simple. Literally, if they did them it literally takes less than an hour to do all of them. One is easy, like brush your teeth. It sounds really silly, but that's an easy one for them to check off. Get dressed, make your bed, eat breakfast, pick a chore, read for 20 minutes. This is when my kids had to do like summer reading. So read for 20 minutes, exercise for 20 minutes, play outside for 30 minutes, do something creative, and do something helpful. So those are the 10 things that they had to do before they were able to have their screen time. And that meant their phones, their games, TV, everything. And so I just had it laminated, and then they would just use dry erase, and they would just kind of check it off, and they would come show it to me, and then I would give them their electronics. So something very simple that you can implement. They're probably going to roll their eyes at you the first time you do this, but eventually it's just what we do, right? And again, 1.5 hours, 1 to 1.5 hours out of their day to do these things, not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. So I will provide a link in the show notes for you to grab a copy of these, so you'll have them. But that was one of them. The other one was kind of the summer boredom busters. And we just took those popsicle sticks and actually had them write these things out. And so they went into the jar. And so if they ever came to me and said they were bored, or I could just tell they were just kind of floundering, I would say, go pick something out of the boredom buster jar. And some of them were chores, and some of them were fun things. So like one was like a random act of kindness, wash the car, laundry, make the world's longest hopscotch, yard games like Foursquare, ring toss, play a card game, have a picnic in the yard. So I've had 31 things on here that they could do to help kind of bust the boredom. I just could not handle my kids saying they were bored, especially when I look around all the opportunities they had to do fun things. And so this just gave them some fun, different ideas. So they wrote them on the popsicle sticks. We put them in a jar, and they had those to go to. And honestly, for me too, like I was like, what am I going to do with them today? I could pull one of those out, and that was just kind of fun for us to do. So that's the how. Those are two ways that we did the hows for summer survival, was countdown to screen time and then the boredom busters. But there may be something else that you want to add to that. But again, these are the things that I want you to be thinking about now. Okay, so that's how do you create your plans? We talked about the first C was choose your mindset. The second one was create your plan. The third one is consistently show up, and not just for your business. I need you to consistently show up for you. I need you to be sure that you're putting your own oxygen mask on first, right? Before you're helping your kids do that this summer. And really be thinking about this summer, how do you want to show up and how do you want to be remembered? That's something I ask myself all the time. I'm pretty sure my mentor, Andrea, who I'm going to have on the show here soon, said that to me years ago. And that has just really stuck with me. How do I want to show up this summer for my kids? And how do I want to be remembered? That's a really great question to kind of do a pulse check with yourself when you think about how you want your summer to go. But consistently show up for you. Decide now what you will do each day to recharge. Maybe you read, maybe it's a nap, maybe it's the beach, maybe it's gardening, maybe it's listening to a podcast, maybe it's just a dance party in the car. But consistently show up for you. Consistently show up for your family. Let them know when you'll be working, right? But also when you have planned some quality time with them. That's where I talked about having a scheduled day, one day, free day, and then another day, half a day or whatever. But just let them know you're going to be working, because you're a mompreneur and you are a business owner and you have work. Just because they're home and they're out doesn't mean that you're their playmate the whole time, right? So let them know you're going to be working, but also let them know that you have some fun things planned for them. My kids have always made, I don't think they did it last summer. Yeah, they did. A bucket list that you can check off together. So what are some things that they really want to do this summer that you can check off together? And, sometimes they put things like go to Disney World, and that was just not something we were going to be able to do, but have them make a bucket list, maybe for some local things that they want to do. And maybe some of those, you can get the ideas off of the boredom buster, but have them make their bucket list. You can all check off together. It just makes it really fun and helps them to see that while you are working, they are still very much the priority for you, and you're going to be spending time with them as well. And when you're with them, be with them. Be where your feet are. A speaker said that years ago at a conference of mine. Be where your feet are. If you're with your kids, you're with your husband, be with your kids and your husband. If you are at work, be at work, and try to shut out all the distractions that you possibly can. If you have to put a sign on your door, letting your kids know this is when I'm working, if you have to, just set up some other boundaries, go in your car, whatever you need to do, leave the home. Maybe you need to go, and that's where the mommy's helper can come in and stay at the house, and you can just run to Starbucks for an hour. Be where your feet are this summer. And last but not least, but consistently show up for your customers, your clients. Again, do you have the open sign on? Show up in person. Maybe video on Zoom, phone contacts. How can you serve your clients well this summer and stay in the game with them? All right. The 4C, and this is one that I see a lot of us typically lack in, is celebrating your wins. So how can you celebrate your wins this summer? A win is different and defined by everyone in a different way. A win may be that you got this morning and took a shower, washed your hair, and no one argued or no one tried to come in, and get you at that time if you have little ones. A win could be that you did your power hour. A win could be that you got up and did 30 minutes of walking outside. I want you to define what those wins are, but I want you to really take note this summer of the wins, not just of yourself, but also of your children. When they do the countdown to screen time, yes, you're rewarding them by giving them their screens, but just how can we celebrate that they did those without arguing with you, or did those without rolling their eyes, or did them in a different way, or, try to notice those things that they're doing throughout the summer, because they're going to be more present and more home with you. And while they may be getting some of those celebrations from their teachers, it's nice for them to get them from you at home as well. So celebrate your wins, big and small, in your family and business related, and then celebrate those amongst your family. And then last but not least, the fifth is connect. Connect with your family. And maybe that's family game night. Maybe that's family movie night. Maybe it's going to their favorite restaurant or cooking their favorite meal or learning something new together. Connect with your family. Connect with yourself. Again, by being aware of what mindset you're choosing. How are you taking care of your body, mind, and soul and spirit? Connect with your accountability partners, your mentors, your coach, whoever you have kind of given that opportunity to who have earned the right to speak into your life and hold you accountable to what you said you were going to do this summer. If you have a team, if you're in direct sales, connecting with your team, staying engaged with them, because listen, we're all going through it. We're all going into the summer. We're all getting ready to have our schedules flipped upside down, but it doesn't have to be a negative. And again, that's where I want you to kind of think about it now and kind of choose what your mindset is going to be so that you can look at it as a positive opportunity to connect more with your children, to connect more with some family fun traditions, or create maybe a new family fun tradition. So those are your 5 C's for summer survival. And I hope that not only will it be a survival, but it'll be a summer you can look back on and say, wow, we thrived as a family. We made these memories as a family. And maybe you want to start kind of a little journal or I hate to say a scrapbook because I'm not a scrapbooker, but maybe, there's some things you can do each week and put your kids in charge of it, of kind of capturing some of those fun family moments. The bucket list was always a big thing for us, just to kind of work through that throughout the summer. And sometimes we got through them and sometimes we didn't. So it's not a bad thing if you don't complete everything that's on the list. Those of you that like to check everything off the list, no guilt here if you don't get through their bucket list. But I hope that this will help you get ready for summer. It's here, it's coming. And for you to not only just survive summer, but to be able to thrive this summer. That is my prayer for you and your family, is that you will have not a chaotic summer, but one filled with memories and love and just laughs and whatever you decide it to be. And now is the time to choose it, to choose your mindset, to create your plan, to consistently show up, to celebrate your wins, and last but not least, but to connect. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode. If there's anything that you do for summer survival that you have found helpful for you, please reach out to me on Instagram and I'll add it to my story as well. But at Martine31 Williams is where you can find me on Instagram. I'll have the link to this kind of summer survival kit for you in the show notes. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link, share this episode, or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31 Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.